actually uploading consistently. I won't be able to keep it up. No, I'll be gone for like a month before you know it, don't worry. But anyway, I was looking for inspiration on social media platforms of other things people have been sewing, little like costumes. I wasn't 100% sure what I was looking for, but I just wanted to find some form of inspiration. And I realized that I've actually missed a lot of key fundamentals. When it comes to sewing, I've actually like skipped over like measuring things, patterns. I skipped it all. I just kind of went to, I didn't even have a mannequin at first, so I kind of went to, ooh, look, if I drape fabric over my head and pin it in various places, it will look like it fits me, even if it doesn't. Some of my earlier cosplays are absolute disasters, but I kind of figured that I wanted to actually start from the beginning and work my way through all the things I haven't learned before. So originally, my idea for this video was I was going to order a really cool pattern, which I've never tried before, and I was going to buy some fabric, and I was going to like start from the beginning, so to speak. But it failed very fast because I could not find a pattern anywhere for the life of me. I was going to order one, but it was going to take ages to come, and I was like, I don't want to wait that long. So instead, I went the route of clearing out my old space first. So in this video, I clear out all my fabric. I kind of organize everything. And then I decided to try tackling one of like the basic projects. I was scrolling like the sewing hashtag on TikTok, and from the looks of it, people were like, oh yes, the beginner project that all beginner sewers have the stereotype of doing or did was like a tote bag. And I was like, I've never made one of those before. So I figured that was a good thing to try and do. And then when I was going through my fabric, I found all these pieces that were actually really pretty pieces of fabric that were scraps left out from old projects. So I decided to cut them all into squares and kind of experiment with patchwork and making a bag. So I hope you enjoy. I don't really know what there is to learn from this. Honestly, from the looks of it, actually making a tote bag was pretty standard. Something everyone's done. I had no idea, but you know. So, but if you've been wondering how to make a tote bag, join the club, because I don't think I did it the proper way. I hope you enjoy and learn something if that's what you're here for. Or you just enjoy watching me get my life together.
So there wasn't the hugest selection at the thrift shop that I went to, but they had a sale on where I could get basically however much I wanted for about £2. So I was really happy with what I found for the price that I found it at. I got this white and pink lace, as well as this really, really thick white duvet cover. It has a stain on it, which is scary. But then I also got this like stretchy, stripy fabric. I think I like the wrong side better than the other side, but you know, and then I got like this brown checkered fabric. Okay, now on to the fabric chest. It's very scary, honestly. I hoard pretty much all my fabric scraps, so you can even see like in the corner there's actually an old cosplay skirt that I'm not using anymore, and that fabric I ordered, the yellow fabric, I ordered months ago for a costume that I never got around to doing, and the rest of it is just like tiny pieces of fabric. So I started a process of taking the bigger pieces of fabric and folding them up and setting them aside. Then I also got all the scraps. I made a big pile, which is what I'm going to put in my bag, use for my bag. And then I made a big pile of things I was going to throw out. Okay, so there's my pile of cosplays right there, and then there's the pile of fabric scraps from my bag, and that's what I ended up throwing out. Then those are all the bigger pieces of fabric, which will probably be repurposed for other projects. So if anyone sees anything that's like, ooh, that would really suit this outfit, then tell me, and maybe I'll make the outfit.
Okay, so after a lot of piecing things together, I think this is what I have.
It's just like folded up because I wasn't sure if this is how I would like it. But I think I do like it. Like if you imagine that as a bag, I think that's good. Okay, so once I picked out what pattern I wanted to do, I started cutting squares out of my fabric. So I think I did 4.5 inches for each square. I just cut out one square and then I used it kind of like a stencil for all the other ones. So in this batch, I ended up cutting 4 of each fabric, but I did end up having to do a couple more later on just because I was originally going to do the bag 3 squares by 3 squares, but I ended up going with 4 by 4. So here I'm just cutting out 4 squares, but I think I ended up going with like 5 or 6 later on. My process of sewing the squares together was just by sewing 4 squares into one long strip, repeating it for all my squares, and then sewing the 4 strips together afterwards. So I'm just sewing them into strips right now. So my ironing process for this is iron it once over the top, flip it over to the back, and then I use my hand to part the seam so I can iron it flat completely. And then I repeat that in every seam, flip it over, and then iron it properly on the other side. And then by the end, it basically just looks like it's one fabric instead of different fabrics sewn together. And now I'm doing what I mentioned earlier, where I'm sewing each strip I just made into one long, like one big square shape, and then I'm gonna iron that flat using the method I just did earlier.
Now that these sheets are done, I'm gonna work on the lining. At first I was gonna use like a bed sheet, but then I thought that most tote bags are actually pretty thick, so they can kind of stand up on their own. I have this thick fabric. I think it might be from a couch place, I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely feels like something you'd get on a couch. I don't know if the texture is gonna pick up on camera, but I'm gonna use that. It's very heavy, so hopefully that will add some structure to the bag so it, you know, kind of keeps its form a bit better. I'm hoping.
So I cut out a matching square and then I pinned it to the patchwork, and then I'm just gonna sew in a square around it, turn it inside out, and then iron it flat, and then the lining and the patchwork will be attached. Now I'm just folding the 2 pieces together and then pinning around the edge. I'm leaving the top open because that's where the bag's gonna open, but I'm sewing the bottom and both sides together to make the bag.
So I have this strip of fabric here, which I've measured, and I think I like that length for a strap. So I'm going to cut it in a straight line down the center and then fold each half.
Okay, so now I'm ironing it so it makes a crease right down the center of my fabric, and then I'm going to cut a straight line along the crease that was just made. Then I'm sewing this into 2 individual strips and turning them inside out to make the straps.
I'm going to sew them down the open side and then turn them inside out. Also, again, I forgot I needed fabric for the straps, so I literally had to go through my fabric garbage to get the fabric. Like, it's literally just fabric scraps from yesterday in there. But still. Okay, so I have the straps and I have the bag. Now it is time to attach them all together.
While you watch me struggle to fit as many books as possible into my bag, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to say my outro. Thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me to see your support. If you could leave a comment so I know what you think, and if you have any ideas of what you want me to post next, that would be really, really amazing. Also, please subscribe if you want to stick around and see more content from me. See you next time. Bye! Also, the answer is 8. I managed to fit 8 books into my bag.